Hey, I'm Charles, and today I'm going to show you guys how to use safety wire on your dirt bike to secure fasteners and bolts. Now there's two common methods we're going to show you today, and if you don't know when to use safety wire on your dirt bike, you're going to want to check out our top 5 uses video. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start out with the steering stem nut. We're going to remove the old one. This is something that comes loose all the time on dirt bikes, and you want to make sure that it stays in place. So that's why for us, we're going to be installing this Works Connection steering stem nut. It already has a hole drilled in it for safety wire. But if you want to use a stock one, you can use a 1/16 inch drill bit and drill right through that corner. Just use some soft jaws when you put this in a vise. That way you can drill through there. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and install this, and we're going to get it tightened down. Now we always recommend using the spec in your service manual, but I know some people like to go a little lighter on this, and that's because this does affect, or it slightly affects the tension on those steering stem bearings. Even though you have those adjusters underneath, you know, if you crank down on this, it's going to tighten everything up just a little bit. So be aware of that, and a lot of times that's why people are using safety wire on these. Now this is kind of hard to see, but we have the hole facing our left fork for that safety wire. Now if you're using that stock nut, you want to make sure you tighten it down, mark your location, then you're going to take it off, drill it, and then put it back on. Now you need to find an anchor point for the safety wire. So you can use a 1/16 inch drill bit to go through the corner of your triple clamp, but I really don't want to drill in that. And sometimes there's a little tab up here you can go around. These triple clamps, we've got a little raised section with this bracket mounted right there. So we're just going to take this safety wire and wrap it around there and run it to the nut. So now that we're around the anchor point, I'm going to twist this wire, and then you want to make sure you don't do any twists that are going to be past the length of your nut or your mounting location in the nut. So what I'm going to do is about right here, I'm going to use my safety wire pliers, and we're going to pull this section of the wire tight, get it twisted together. So all you do, clamp these pliers in place. We have this slide that locks it down, and you don't want to get this so tight that it breaks the wire, but you do want a fairly decent twist on there. So right here you can see I need a few more twists in the wire until we meet the point where we're going through that nut. Now as you guys can see, if I tie at this point on the nut, it's not going to be able to back off. So that's exactly what you want. If I go to this other side, it could back off a quarter turn before this wire starts to tighten up. So just be aware of that. You always want to tighten this stuff down so the nut cannot back off or move once this is in place. So once you've got the right length, you can go ahead and pull that wire through. You're going to make sure this gets pulled nice and tight, and that way there's no chance of it getting backed off. And then from here, we're actually going to continue our twist. And then once you've got that all tightened up, we're going to go ahead and trim this. We actually cut this closer to about 1/2 inch just to make sure nothing comes undone. And then we're just going to fold this in half and tuck it in. So that's how you do everything on a single fastener, and that's what you're going to be using most of the time. But if you ever have to connect 2 fasteners, this is the way to do it. We're going to show you how to do this on some brake caliper bolts. So with these mounting bolts, you want them tightened down all the way, and then we're going to use an auto centering punch. We're going to mark both of our drilling locations, and then again 1/16 inch drill bit. We're going to drill through these, and since these are kind of hollowed out on the inside, we're going to have to loosen them up 1/2 turn to do the other side. Then once you have them drilled out, you're going to need a length of safety wire that is at least double the length of the distance you're going. And when you install this, you need to make sure you're doing it in a way that it's always pulling the fasteners tight if they try to come loose. So we're going straight through this fastener. We're going to wrap it around and then go underneath the other piece of wire, and we'll twist it. And then we roughly need to measure how far it needs to be twisted to the next fastener. Now usually you want this in a straight line, as tight as possible, straight across, but with this one we have this rubber grommet for the slide pin, so we're allowing just a little bit of slack there. And when you twist this, you want 7 to 12 twists per inch. So once you have it all twisted up, you can see we need to go 1 or 2 more twists down here. Now one more tip for you guys, if you want to clean up the look and keep that wire off the rubber boot, you can always put a little vent line like this over that wire in between the bolts. And then we're going to take one of the ends of the safety wire, we're going to go through the other bolt head, and then we're going to take that piece that's free and we're going to wrap it around underneath this one just like we did on top, and then we're going to twist it. And when we twist it this way, we're actually going to have to do this portion by hand. So I'm just going to clamp that on there and get about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch of this twisted up. Once you have that done, you just need to snip the end off, and we're going to fold this in half and then tuck it up out of the way. So those are your 2 common methods for securing bolts and fasteners on your dirt bike. And if you need any of these bolts that have holes drilled in them already, you can find those along with the safety wire and the safety wire pliers on our website. Now, if you haven't checked out our top 5 uses video, you're going to want to watch that. You might get some ideas of where else you can use this stuff on your bike to make sure nothing comes off or backs off. So again, check that out and subscribe to our channel for more helpful content. I'm Charles with Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Thanks for watching.